Ships on vigor of the waves are skimming, barren summits to the verdant plains. Each horizon is a new beginning, rise Eldraine. Far from the fjords and the ice-cold currents, raving soar over new frontiers, songs and sagas of a fate eternal.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, we're like a bunch of fucking gremlins. Don't go drinking with me. Don't go riding around with Dale. Fuck.
Don't go gambling with
Right.
Andy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am not the voice of reason.
Yeah, don't try to,
Well, I mean,
don't let Boog take a shower to conserve water with you.
Booger number 2 and I are not allowed in the same proximity unsupervised.
no shit, right?
That's for society's protection.
I know, right?
I'm rapidly losing my fucking sense of humor out here, bud.
Dude, well, it's kind of like the beginning of a horror movie or some murder drama. Bunch of folks just living on a barge together.
Well, they had some fucking scumbag, shithead, fucking trash mouth motherfucker that they hired to work nights. And
You should send him the link to this video.
Yeah, right.
He's got our podcast fucking at him. So, but anyway, he was just I don't know, man. He was just one of those people that needed to be in charge, needed to exercise his fucking dominance. So you know what I mean. He was just a shit fucking commander, man. He was a fucking 1LT, and and everybody got to where they fucking hated him, man. I mean, he was just making shit so hard. So,
and for context, how long have you been on the barge?
The barge, maybe, I don't know, 18 days now running.
Yeah. So that
I've been on this contract for about 5 weeks, and I've been here for almost 3 now, living on the barge. So it's close proximity, a lot of dudes. You know, it's hot weather. It's fucking, you know, everybody's got their shit on. But anyway, he was just a fucking cunt. And so he kept on. And so the other day it blew up. So it got to where I couldn't even be around him because he's just such a fucker. And I didn't want to smack the shit out of somebody and lose my job and then get blackballed. You know what I mean? So, because I'm trying to be a human being, better human being. You know, I'm growing and shit. You know,
I feel like you're growing as a person now.
Right. So I told my boss the other day, man, I was like, listen, I said, I got another job that keeps calling me. They're holding the job for me till the end of the month to see how this goes. Because I've worked for them before and they like me, surprisingly. And I said, you know, I mean, I don't know if I'd have a job 2 fucking weeks, but today I've got a fucking job, you know. I said, so I said, how about I go ahead and give you my notice? And then I just ease out of here. Y'all find somebody else. We leave on good terms. You know what I mean? And that way I don't have a black eye. Because in this industry, man, you get blackballed from the gas company, you get blackballed from, you know what I mean? It's so fucking easy, dude. Y'all know it's not like contracting, but the thing about it is this is actually, they take this serious, you know. You get fired from BW and next day you're working for SOC, and, you know, unless you're Nate Eggleson and get banned from the fucking AO. But
or you get fired off of a team and end up on the AMBO or some bullshit.
Yeah.
I saw that happen a lot.
So this fucking, I was like, you know, I'll just out. We'll be on good terms.
AMBO's residents. Let's be clear.
So he was like, "No, man, I don't want you to go." So then the next morning, the main boss calls me. He's like, "Hey, they said you're talking about leaving." And I said, "Well, you know, I don't want to get in trouble. I know me. We all know me." Anyway, he says, "Well, what's going on?" So I tell him everything, and he's like, "Sit tight." Well, an hour later, this dude's walking the plank. You know what I mean? So then they're like, "Hey, you mind covering nights for a little bit?" So now I'm kind of working nights, a little bit of days in the mornings and the evenings. And so I'm weaving in and out. And then, like, on top of that, like, I get into bed at, let's just say, 8 a.m. Well, then by lunchtime, people are coming into this barge to eat. and they're moving the barge.
Oh,
They're
fuck.
doing this, and the spuds are going up and down, and the tugs are hitting, and it's just like for the last month, I haven't slept more than about 3 or 4 hours in one given sitting. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know. I'm just losing my fucking sense of humor real fast. I don't know if any of that made sense, but
Yeah.
Well, you got
So-
you got us to laugh at.
I'm a whiny bitch. What do y'all
Well, you
want
are,
to
but
know?
you know,
Yeah.
but we got you. We got you.
Yeah.
And you're not in arm's reach of me, so I can say that.
Eyes on the road.
I know where your house is, Dale. Don't make me send snakes. There's a company out there. You could literally buy bags of feces.
No, it's not snakes I'm worried about. I'm not worried about.
You can literally buy bags of animal dung from like exotic species. I found a website that
Oh.
can literally ship 5 pounds of elephant shit to someone's house for you.
Hmm.
I
Well,
have
there's
no
a
way
little
of
bit of
knowing
a-
whether or not you're getting your money's
Well,
worth. But you know,
Well, speaking of Nicholson,
yeah, I can't hear you, buddy. It cut out. You froze.
some of us are connected. Oh, I'm in a bad reception area. It said,
Mm.
speaking of Nate Eggleston, that ties us. Can you still? Am I still breaking up?
Just a little bit. I heard Nate Eggleston and you wanted to do something with his wiener. Say it again.
Yeah, mouth hugs. No,
Well,
no,
then.
I was talking about how that connects three of us together with
Yeah.
Cayugastan.
So
Yeah.
when I got to Cayugastan, Andy said, "All right, not Andy. God damn it, who was the fucking? God damn, he was in Kabul with us. Fuck.
Phil?
No, the head dude up there, one of the dudes.
Oh, you're talking about Jeremy Landry, that fucker.
No, not Jeremy. The fucking
Kevin.
Kevin. God damn, I was
Oh.
losing my shit.
Well, Kevin showed up later.
Well, when I got
Mm,
there, I think Kevin was there when we got there.
yeah, Kevin was already there.
Anyway,
I didn't- well,
Like
I didn't see him.
before you guys got there, there was a lot of back and forth. It's like, hey, we only need 20 of you, so we need to cut 10. All right. A week or 2 weeks later, hey, we need 30 guys. Like, well, all right, I'll come right back.
well, when I got
Yeah.
there,
So there was
they
a
said-
lot of in and out.
When I got there, they said Nate's the night shift supervisor. Well, I knew Nate. I knew him from Afghanistan. I knew the whole story, but I didn't have a real big problem with Nate at that time. I mean, we weren't like gonna sit down and hold hands and watch Disney movies together, get our fucking freak on. But at the same time, I didn't have an issue with him at that point, really. And I said, all right, so me and Nate go out in that fucking buggy of his. What was it? That little fucking Toyota thing or whatever it was that he had all.
Oh,
jacked
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he had
Nissan
that.
thing, what it was.
Yeah, that Nissan. Yeah, he definitely.
Yeah,
had one
it
of
was
those
Nissan.
He drives me around that night and he's like, here's the front, here's the back, water all around. So we get to that one place. He's like, hey, there's going to be a bunch of y'all in here. You're guarding down on this little casino. It's no big deal. Y'all take turns sleeping. As long as somebody's up, everything's cool. And that's the way it ran. And so we were taking fucking air mattresses in and sleeping in shifts because Nate fucking told us to. And then all of a sudden, they come up and they're like, "Oh my God, what are y'all doing? You can't be sleeping." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" That's what we were told to fucking do. But Nate crawfishes and fucking tries to save his own skin, little pussy ass faggot. And I hope he's watching, fucking cunt muffin. And he just crawfishes and throws us all under the fucking bus, man. Oh, I never said that. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? That's why we fucking did it, because y'all told us to fucking sleep in shifts, but then they were trying to save face with the client by saying that we were doing something we weren't supposed to be doing, and we weren't. We were doing exactly what the fuck we were told to do. And then that
I
did
can
that same
I
shit
can
in North
confirm that.
Dakota.
Yeah, because I can confirm that because we were told we could sleep in shifts in the cars because we'd have two guys in a car, and they said like, well, one of you, as long as one of you is awake, paying attention to shit, you guys can trade off. And so we were like, okay, cool. because they were 12-hour shifts. I mean, they
Yeah.
you know.
And he might have to be called up in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's
that's one of the
just,
reasons I got a problem with Nate. The other reason I got a problem with Nate is when we were in North Dakota, and they ran that motherfucker right in the ground. They took a Ferrari. Him and Brian took a fucking Ferrari and treated it like a goddamn Pinto, and ran it into the fucking ground and fucked it all to 7 ways from Sunday. And then,
But
so
let's be honest, though. I mean, Brian in that instance was probably more of a follower, just trying to
absolutely
take.
100%. But
Yeah, I mean,
you know what kills me about Nate? What really kills me about Nate? And hey, we all know me. I get it. You know what I mean? You need to be a little bit tactical when you're talking to me, and you probably want to be on the other side of the room. But he did the same shit in North Dakota, man. When Mike started flying in, who was the client? He was one of the clients, but he was the vice president of that gas company. When he started flying in, they said, "All right, you're going to be his PPO. You're going to be his bodyguard." Roger. So I go out with him. Me and a buddy of mine, SEAL buddy, OB, solid fucking dude, man. Me and OB go out, and so we're in a side by side buggy, and this guy's in the back seat, and he's probably $1 million a year guy. You know, he's important. So everybody's treating him like he's a fucking princess, with all these little dainty gloves. "Do you need some coffee, sir? Is there anything we can do, sir? Can we polish your boots, sir?" And me and OB are just treating him like one of us. "Hey, man, hop in. We're going out to fucking woods." You know, just talking to him like people, that treating him like a fucking person. So he kind of liked hanging out with us. So the very first time we go out, we're on this long ass right away. And I got an OP on the hill. And so me and OB are coming up in this fucking side by side, and he's in the back seat. And they call me up and they're like, "Hey, Doc, you may want to pull back. We got some tangos on the other side of this bridge. It's cool. We'll go up by foot." So we parked the buggy down at the bottom of the hill. We go up to the crest there, and I said, "Look, we're going to go up the top of this hill so you can get a look, and then we're going to stop," because he was wanting to get eyes on. You know what I mean? And and so I said, "Listen," I said, "if these guys come up here and start coming toward us," I said, "I want you to go back and fire up that buggy, head to the top of the next ridge, and just wait for us there." He's like, "What are you gonna do?" I was like, "Oh, we're gonna fuck these guys up." And he's like completely blown away. The people like us are like itching for a fucking fight. Like for him, this is like, you know what I mean? He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "No, we're gonna fuck these guys up." You know what I mean? But so the next time he comes in, they said, "Oh, I'm gonna put you with somebody else." He's like, "I'm not going out unless that same guy takes me out." And so they call me out of the field and bring me in. That pissed Nate off to no fucking end, because now he's no longer the most important person in the room. Forget that the guy liked us so much that he was happy and that he was pleased with the service. You know what I mean? Nate had to be the fucking king shit. So I went out on
Right.
vacation, and Bubba Moore, one of my Ranger buddies, Bubba calls me. He said, "Man, you ain't gonna like this." "What?" "Oh, well, Nate was in the room talking shit about you and said in this mission brief, and Brian can confirm this, that you know, oh well, you know, we need y'all to be friendly with the clients and treat them with respect, but we don't want people acting like loony, you know, and doing this and doing that." And dude, it fucking set me off. God damn, it set me off. He's such a fucking little scumbag. Of course, I confronted him about it, but he is such a fucking little scumbag piece of shit. I got zero fucking respect for that motherfucker, and I want his teeth. Anyway, enough about me. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Skip over the part where we went out drinking. Let's talk about Cayugastan.
All right.
You mean where you
Well,
flew in drinking?
You know, potato, tomato. You say
Well,
overly aggressive. I say nuclear deterrent.
I will say that Nate's he's always done me right, as far as I know. So I got to stick up for him a little bit on that one. But I don't know. I didn't work with him like you guys did.
I just think he's a fucking scumbag piece of shit who got tossed out of the AO in goddamn Iraq because he was getting charged with smuggling weapons and shit. But I mean, you know, what do I know?
Yeah. See, I don't know anything about any of that.
Yeah, not out of the job, not off
But-
the program, the fucking AO.
Wow.
Anyway,
Well,
But you just said something I'd like to touch on. How this client specifically requested you to go with them. And I think a lot of, and I've been there in management, you know, as DPM or DTL, whatever you want to call it. And I get it, you know, what a lot of people don't seem to remember or recognize is that the client is a human being. Yeah, I mean, they might have 6, 7 figures in the bank, 8 figures, whatever, but they're still a human being. And especially with us medics, I've noticed a lot of clients over the years, they do get very comfortable having the same person with them on mission. And I mean, that happened to me a lot in Africa. You know, I'm a friendly guy, you know, and apparently I'm likable or something. I don't know. I heard that. But
anytime, it's anytime. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen it where, you know, the client will build up a relationship with their PPO and, you know, they'll specifically request that PPO, personal protection officer. And, you know, it's not uncommon. And from the management side, I can understand how that's a problem. But at the same time, it's a blessing in disguise. You know, because if you're keeping the client happy, then the client's happy. That's what's important.
I think it's only a problem if you make it a problem.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you overreach, if you overstep your boundaries,
yeah,
obviously that's a big problem.
And you got to look at the fact of, okay, why are you there with that person? There's obviously a threat on them, or they perceive a threat on them. And so when shit goes sideways, human beings are always going to look for leadership. If you don't find it around it, then you're it. So with them feeling, you know, in a world that's not really their world as far as violence or anything of that nature, if it goes sideways, they're going to look for leadership. And if they've got that relationship with that person, you don't have to worry about, you know, them fucking rabbiting on you and doing something fucking stupid. You know, they're going to be right by your side going, all right, what the fuck do we need to do?
Sir,
so
man,
when you look at it from
over here.
So when you look at it from the big picture, it's not a threat, you know, and I don't understand where management gets that idea.
So
Well,
here's the
it's
problem,
threatening
Tucker.
to them.
No.
Well, and that's where they're not there for the mission. They're letting their own personal feelings get involved, and that's not good for the client regardless.
Well, see, here's the thing, Boogie. You're mixing and matching here. So leadership isn't really about their ego necessarily. Leadership recognizes the strength in others and surrounds themselves with the right people, and they embolden others. They pick a direction. They believe in the mission.
Correct.
And they do what it takes to get that done. People who get into management don't understand that, and they're about their own personal ego, but they also want the paycheck. And so, you know, you got someone like Nate Eggleston, who's an egocentric person. They want the client's attention, but they forget that it's like, dude, you're in management now. You're not supposed to be on the client. You're just supposed to surround yourself with the right people that you're supposed to put on the client, and that reflects well upon you. But he doesn't get that.
And that's what.
And
you
made a good point though, because there's a difference between a manager and a leader. Though.
Exactly.
And to back up what Dale was saying, that to me, and you know, again, I'm not saying Nate's a all around bad dude, but the experiences that I had with him were mostly weighed to the negative in that respect. I'm sure if you dug around far enough, you'd find people that don't like me. There's not very many of them. I'll probably say more than one, maybe. But you know, so but to
I know one.
Yeah, we all know him.
I'll take the over on that bet.
But yeah, no shit. I'll take the spread. To Dale's point, I think that was the problem. I think that was the entire problem with that mission in North Dakota, is that, you know, again, you're supposed to be management, but he kept wanting to run out in the field and be on the radio and tying up stuff and doing a lot of things that were really fucking stupid, and just
Right.
instigating shit. You know what I mean? And that was one of the things I tried to explain to Mike when we were there. Is he said, you know, what do you think about this project? And I said, I think y'all made a fucking mistake. What do you mean? You're trying to mitigate potential violent problem. You're trying to diffuse a situation that's extremely volatile. That's not what we do. We don't diffuse shit. We're not cops. When's the last time you said, please, sir, would you not point that weapon at me, and try to de-escalate a situation? Most of the time we're brought in to just tear shit up. You know what I mean? Like, we're not the kind of guys you want, to me. And I'm not saying everybody's this way, but to me, like, you got to be really careful about bringing a bunch of guys who are used to doing that sort of thing and then bring them back here and corral them into one group and turn them loose on the population, because without the proper motivation and leadership, I think you got a potential for some extremely wrong things. You know what I mean? Things to go wrong, because
a potential shitstorm.
Again, you know, somebody pulls me out of a car, I'm gonna act completely different than John Q. Citizen. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm not doing very well today. I just got up. I think there's a potential there. You know what I mean? Cops aren't going to be good at what we do, and we're not good at what cops do, I don't think.
Katrina was a great example of people getting turned loose with improper leadership, you know, with security that was happening down there.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to this to my therapist just yesterday, actually. I realized one of my problems when I'm sitting here driving on the road, for example, and it'll be that I'm sitting here, you know, and I've got the sun in my eyes, and I see all these people. They're like jamming up on their brakes and they're driving erratically, and I'm like, what the fuck is your people's problem? Like, just drive. Like, you can still see the car in front of you. Just drive. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, all these people are driving with complications in their lives. They're sitting there thinking, oh, I don't want to get caught by the cops, and oh, I can't read the signs anymore, so am I going to miss my exit? And they're thinking about all these stupid nuances, whereas guys who have been to combat like us, we live binary, which is it life or death? You know, I'm not worried about getting pulled over by the cop. I'm worried about, am I going to wreck into this fucking car and die, or am I going to, you know, not wreck into this car and live? That's my two primary concerns, you know. And
the here and now.
Everything right. It's like we're living by simple rules. Live or don't live. That's it.
Yeah, I think that, oh, I thought you were done. I think you froze. That's a terrible pose to freeze in. You're gonna love the playback. You're gonna love the fucking playback on this one, baby.
That's getting a screenshot.
Oh yeah, that's getting a fucking screenshot.
Yeah, you just started to say something, so I just kind of paused. So I was like,
I can see the fucking memes coming. Go ahead.
But no, so I was just saying, like, so like when John says, you know, we get pulled out of the car.
I got fucking
My
Mitch
God,
McConnell over here.
Mitch McConnell,
press conference.
Got it.
All right. So anyway,
so
we
they're like, whoa, man,
he got a little touch of that tism today, boys.
Oh shit.
No, I just you know, to keep going, since we got freeze a lot over here.
So so John, can I go back to something you said at the very beginning?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right, just like a little breakaway until Dale gets connection back. So you're talking about this guy that comes in and he wants to be the boss and be in charge, and he's, you know, king of the castle. You do this, you do that, being a real asshole, right? Well, I've learned over the years, and what's made me personally better is I've had to deal with guys like that, you know, that just very poor leadership. And my takeaway from that is that I've learned what not to do, or not how to be a manager, but how to be a leader. You know, how to not necessarily be, you know, a boss, but rather the leader. Does that make sense? And
Oh, yeah.
some people get into that position, or they automatically assume that position, but they don't know what they're doing.
I think there's a testament that I think there's a testament that guys like us have, and I'll say this from my own perspective with absolute sincerity and clarity of thought. What I'll say is that I don't need to prove myself.
Right.
And that's what I tell people all the time. I don't need positive affirmation. I don't need pats on the back. I don't need to be told I'm a man. You know what I mean? I've stood on a battlefield. I know what you know what I mean? I don't need that power trip. I don't care. Like, I'm just here to do a fucking job and get a mission done. And that's my perspective of it. And I think that a lot of people, especially those who have never tasted battle or tasted violence, and people that are weaker, does that mean, I don't want to say that in a negative.
Not weaker, just different.
Weaker, just different. Yeah, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah,
I think that when you first get a position of authority and you've never had authority, when you first get a power and you've never had power, you know, it's hey, to quote Spider-Man, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. But, you know, I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there that when you give them a position of authority, they don't know how to handle that. And
yeah,
well, and they
I
also
think
make
that's
things
just the
complicated.
naivety with that guy, is that he was in a position of authority, and he felt like everyone needed to be reminded of that on a constant basis. Hey, I'm in fucking charge, buddy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that kind of shit never set good with me.
yeah.
As far as leadership qualities, I am the worst in the world at what I'm talking about. I'm the absolute fucking worst person that you want to try and diffuse a situation. I'm not an uplifting, motivating kind of motherfucker. I'm not the guy that's going to sit there and say, okay, well, tell me about your feelings. I'm the guy that's going to say, shut the fuck up and get moving. You know what I mean? Like, so I have a hard time in my own life.
You can't do that with civilians so much.
I have a hard time in my own life, but even with my own children, dude, I cannot handle the fucking drama. So they go to their mom for a lot of that shit. You know, my daughter will be like, oh, I don't know, whatever fuck kids complain about, you know, so-and-so said this about me, and now they're talking about me. And I'm like, what the fuck do you care if somebody's talking about you? Who gives a fuck if they're talking about you? So to me, like, my brain doesn't process that kind of, I don't want to say simple shit, because to them it is not simple shit. To them it's important shit, and it's life changing. But my views on stuff are so fucking different. Like, I can't process that lower level shit to me.
Right, and that's where we got to take a step back and try to look at it from their perspective.
Yeah, I'm real good.
No, that's kind of
You're not good at that at all.
That's kind of what
I mean,
but
none
no,
of us
that's what
are
I was
hanging
saying
out
earlier.
with billionaires, so pretty much everybody we deal with is going through some shit.
Everybody, everyone is.
Hang on a minute, Senator McConnell was trying to say something.
Well, the point is that that's what I'm trying to say, is that everybody in regular society, in this so-called normal life, lives by these complicated rules. You know, everything's fucking complicated. Like how they interact with each other. Should I say something? Should I not say something? Oh my God, are my feelings hurt? How do I identify today or last week or whatever? And guys who've been to war, we're just like, hey, did I fucking get blown up today? Let's fucking move on. You know?
Nothing's on fire, nobody's bleeding, and nothing blew up.
Yeah, dude, that's why we used to party so fucking hard, bro. You know what I mean?
So alive.
We made it through another one. Fuck yeah, let's do it again, you know?
So, I was having that conversation honestly, just the other day.
Because we could boil it down to, because it really was simple. I mean, it was, and that's as simple as it needs to be. But that's what makes it so hard for us to try and reintegrate into the shit, because we look around and we're like, are you fucking serious with this bullshit? And that's why, like, you get this, like, what was it in Georgia recently? That dumbass chick, she robs a liquor store, like, with some other people, and she stands in front of a cop, or I mean, a cop is in front of her, and she's like in her car, and she goes to run him over, and the cop ends up shooting her. She's fucking pregnant, and she goes to fucking like run him over because she's probably thinking, oh, he'll like move and I'll get away. And this cop, he's an armed guy, and he's just thinking, oh, it's life or death time. You know,
Yeah.
I got to shoot or not shoot, because if I don't shoot, I'm going to die. And if I do shoot, then I live, because it's binary for him. It's simple.
I hadn't heard about that,
But you
but I
got
bet the
all
fucking
these-
hippies are all on that shit.
Oh, dude, they're all fucking losing their mind. But my point
Yeah.
is that everybody else is out there going, well, why didn't you like shoot her in the arm so that maybe she turned off?
Oh my God.
Or why did
Through the
why
car,
did you have to,
through the windshield, through the side. Oh.
right? It's like, why did you have to shoot and blah blah blah? And it's like, oh, you mother
Mhm.
Yeah.
had your life in jeopardy. That's your problem that you don't understand, and that's why it makes it, you know, people like us have such a hard time adjusting. And they look at us and go, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "No, we're looking at you, going, what's wrong with you? Your fucking feelings are hurt, and you call that violence? Really?"
Well, you got to understand. There's a small population of people that have had their mortality tested, and then it gets
Right.
even smaller when you narrow it down to the people that have had their mortality questioned numerous times. Because people can have a
Right.
traumatic event, a robbery, you know, whatever the case may be, one time, but that's still a slim population, you know, when you look at the overall. But then when you narrow it down to, you know, people having that on a daily basis for years, you know, it changes everything in every perspective, you know. And,
Right.
and then it's hard to find people to relate to because it is such a slim population.
I like that.
But
That
then,
makes
you know,
a t-shirt. I have had my mortality tested. Like fuck
you know
your
what?
feelings. I had my
That's our
mortality
first
tested.
ASR T-shirt right there.
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
Right.
I like that. I know
Wait,
you read it
Tested
off
her
a goddamn
mortality
Cracker
today?
Jack box though.
Well, you saw the T-shirt I wore last week, right? You know, it was a quote from Gross Point Blank.
Oh,
I maintain a certain flexible morality.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I've said for years that I'm a high functioning sociopath.
Right.
What's the day rate?
But I
Yeah.
will say, kind
Yeah, I
of
can
going
see
back
that.
to what you were saying earlier, John, about
What
like
the fuck you mean you can see that?
I'm looking
but I
right
think that's-
at you. I can see it.
But I
I'm the only
think,
one here that doesn't have a neck, by the way. I'm not sure if anyone else noticed.
but I think that's what pisses us off. Like, we can get over dipshits in society that piss us off, and we're like, you know what? Fuck you. You're not worth our time. You know, and we'll
Yeah.
get past it. Like, we want to choke them out initially, but we'll get past it. But when one of our own, when we
I get
know
past
this
it all the time.
motherfucker's been down range, they violate the rules, then it's like, no, I'm going to take your fucking teeth, motherfucker, because you know better. You're supposed to be part of the brotherhood. You know you fucked up, and you intentionally did that.
Yeah,
Sure.
probably. I have, you know, my gauge is a little fucked up. You know, sometimes I'm
I think all of us
aware,
are.
sometimes I may overreact slightly.
Just a little bit.
Potato.
But I would be the pot calling the kettle black,
Yeah, you are.
and that's not a
fucking
racist
nut-
thing.
You're a fucking nut job. But I'm telling you, dude. Wait till you see the fucking replay on this, Booger. You better not disappoint me. I swear to God, I will hunt you down and eat
I think I can handle it.
you. This is gonna be awesome. I see some memes
Hey.
coming out of this one.
Oh, that'll
Fuck
be
all
in there
you all
too. Don't
in
worry.
advance. In advance.
There's
Fuck all
so
you.
many. There's so many spots in there, Dale, where you did this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yourself.
Uh,
Okay, so anyway,
well.
we never did get around to talking about Cayugastan. This is what I
Yeah.
like about this thing. Is that
Cayugastan.
we have
Well,
this
Andy was there
idea.
first. Andy was
Yeah.
there first, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was there. So it started like, I want to say about 3 months after our Triple S got canceled in Afghanistan, give or take 3 plus or minus months. And you know, it's funny. Brad called me up, just put on Facebook, hey, if you worked with me, give me a call, job. And so I gave him a call. I was like, yeah, I'm down. So I got out there, and over half of the team was my team from Helmet. And you know, it's been 3 months since the contract canceled. So I get there and I look around. I'm like, wow, it's good to see all you guys, but you're all the same size as me now.
Girth wise?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, muscle wise, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like, gee, that's weird. But yeah, I was there like 2 weeks after the beginning of it, and it just escalated and just kept on going and going and going. I think out of a 1 year time period, I was there for 9 months. Because like I said, it would expand and contract, just based
like
on mission needs.
A little bit like my wiener in that regard.
Oh yeah, it's I hear you, man. I'm a grower, not a shower. Yeah, I feel you.
I'm not a grower or a shower. It is what it fucking is. I'm Irish, bitch. Get over
I was gonna say we call them Irish.
it. Yeah, fuck you and them.
But yeah, that was.
I know what you did.
But yeah, Cayugastan was probably the most unique contract I've been on, and I've been contracting for 15, 16 years now, and it's like there was a couple points, and Dave Ramos, one of my brothers.
I remember Dave.
We were sitting around one day, and he's like, "Did you ever think that maybe we're not the good guys?"
I fucking love Ramos, man.
And it got on me a little bit. I'm like, "Fuck, maybe we are the baddies."
Right?
But then later on, it definitely came to prove that we were definitely the good guys on that one.
Dude, Andy,
definitely the good guys. Well, we were the gray guys, but we were still on the good side.
So I'm in North Dakota.
Yeah.
Bismarck, North Dakota, the capital city of North Dakota. I go to Walmart, right, on this contract. It was a native fucking Indian, blah, blah, blah. They were protesting, yada, yada. Protesters coming from all over. I go to the fucking Walmart in Bismarck, North Dakota, and I see Man Bear Pig.
Oh, no shit.
Way.
Swear to God. Swear to God. And I went up to him and tried to get a fucking I went up to him and tried to get a fucking photo with him, but he knew who I was and wouldn't do it. And there was a fucking Man Bear Pig in North Dakota. Swear to God, same dude.
That would have been
there
beautiful.
There was this guy, and I'll let you, Andy.
Look, somebody's gonna have to fill me in on this.
Yeah, so
Man Bear Pig.
There's this guy that had this fucking tattoo of this bear paw, like this.
It was on his mouth, chin,
so
mouth, and going up on one side.
Ink. Imagine my hand is the ink. That's how it looked.
But it was a bear paw.
Yeah. So
now you could do it really well, or you could do it really shitty. Like if you get a tattoo, you can pay $1,000 for a great tattoo, or you could pay $20 for a shitty tattoo.
Like
this guy paid $20.
Yeah. So basically, there's this native up there that we all made fun of because he would tell these stories about his spirit animals and his walk, how he was guided by a bear, all this. So we started calling him the Man Bear Pig.
He was like 6'5", fat as hell.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's still alive, honestly.
I don't either, but he was in 16, 17, because I saw him. Like I said, man, I'm in North Dakota in fucking Walmart, and I turn around and here he is. I mean, you can't miss this cunt. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
He wouldn't. I was like, dude, you got to get a photo with me, and he's like, no, man, I'm not. You know what I mean? He just wouldn't do it, man.
No, come on, please. Here's $20 to.
Yeah, I was like, man, my boys are not gonna believe this shit.
Shit!
Oh my God, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
The man.
Damn.
The Man Bear Pig.
Oh,
so
God, that would
I'm gonna see my nightmares.
Yeah, he was telling
some
stories about. So there I was in the woods, and this grizzly came to me, and the grizzly spoke to me in the voice of a cheetah. You know what I mean? It's like some of that kind of fucking.
There's no cheetahs in North America.
You're like, whatever, dude. We've all done shrooms.
Oh shit!
Well, I'm still working on that one.
Yeah, I've never done them. I just,
I haven't either, but it was a funny joke.
Yeah, it was a good joke.
Way to ruin it.
To me, the whole idea of illicit drug usage and criminal activity is just so out of the realm for me that
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
I can't even fathom it. Like, what kind of people is that?
Agreed.
Well,
Savages.
now to be fair,
Fucking
that was the
savages.
opposition side, because the client was Native, First American, however you want to say it, and I actually made some really good friends on the good guy side.
Oh yeah,
You
man.
know,
I
and
didn't
and
have a
they
problem with
they
it.
kept the traditions, and they were good people.
But,
Man Bear Pig was a piece of shit.
he was,
Yeah.
he was,
So
he was
I
a
just gotta
fucking.
put that disclaimer out there.
If you go on wish.com and order a fucking Indian, that's what you're gonna get.
Oh,
You know what I mean? It's like a fucking half native, half Mexican, half whatever the fuck, all just mixed in together. But our land,
Fucking
our
meth
people.
user.
Hey
Ugh.
man, I'm not a racist. I often say I'm a bigot. You know what I mean? I'm not a racist, and there's a difference.
Right.
But I don't give a fuck what color you are. I don't give a fuck what sex you are, what gender. I just don't. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It ain't your
Right.
land. It's my fucking land. I bought it and paid for it. You might have got ripped off. You might have got massacred. But your tribe was killing other tribes and taking their shit
yeah. I mean, that's
long
nature.
before the fucking white guys ever got here. And every
Right.
piece of property in the world has been conquered. So I mean, get the fuck over it. You know what I mean? Like, you
Right.
lost.
Jesus.
The problem is, and I know this is going to piss some people off, and I don't care because it's my fucking podcast too. But the problem is this is the only nation where we've occupied and completely obliterated somebody, and then let them maintain their bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you go into fucking Russia and we take it over. You know what I mean? Now they're Americans and they're going to stand too. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking Rome didn't do that shit. You know what I mean? Rome didn't go in, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Right.
I think we
Well,
were too nice to them is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Prior to it was like you're Greeks now, or you're you're whatever nation you just got conquered by now.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking around. I'm fucking around, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, okay, man, like, I get it.
Like we trounced Japan and Germany, and then we said, hey, we're going to help you rebuild, and we're just going to have an agreement that's going to last about 50 years, and then we're going to say deuces and let you have it back. Okay.
Yeah, I think in Germany, though, I think, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Hillary Clinton Foundation, didn't they help rebuild too? Weren't the Bidens involved in that?
I don't know, dude.
are you having any suicidal tendencies right now? Just invoking the name.
We're all going to get suicided from ASR. It's just going to get wiped.
Yeah.
All of our data will be erased.
Thanks.
Don't get me
Yeah.
fucking started.
All right. So the Cayugastan. Wow. that was something else. I wish you guys were there for 2.0 because damn. We were all over the news. Chuck Schumer even did a whole big thing about how we're the bad
Shocker.
guys and we're
Shocker.
we're evil guys, mercenaries and blah blah blah.
They do realize that
They did
that
the
was a
same
split
shit.
tribe, right?
Well, during 2.0 2020, and I know, love him or hate him, I know your stance and I know my stance. Nate and Don ran that. Don Rector. And
for the record, I fucking love Don and his brother.
Oh fuck yeah, I love Don.
I love fucking Don and I love Chris too. I love both of them motherfuckers. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. Nate was, he's a coyote spirit, he's a trickster. He is. Which I love that. I love Nate Eggleston for that because he is a trickster. So get this. So our plan of attack happened February 2nd, 02, or February 22nd, 0222 of 2020 at 02:22 a.m.
Wow.
Think of the legal
George
paperwork
Washington
that you have
Day.
to fill out. 020220. Fuck. somebody somewhere is going to fuck up the paperwork. And I thought that was a really good move. But so there was a big plot of land, the first gas station that the bad guys took over, right? They had a bunch of little cottages with no bathrooms. They had the longhouse, the fake longhouse, I believe, and all kinds of buildings on the property, plus the big gas station. We didn't really get exposed to that during that first round. You drive by it and do a little reconnaissance, who's there, who's not there. And Matt Anderson did a lot of the reconnaissance. Like he could tell you everybody, but neither here nor there. Anyway, so that was our objective, was to take that out. So for 2.0 in 2020, February of 2020, we made a deal with the construction company that was there, and they were in on it. At 02:22 a.m., we moved in. We had drones in the sky. We had 45 guys on the ground. We had a construction company. We moved in and raided the entire camp. We spent 2 days on planning. Now, most of the guys, there were, I think, 6 or 7 of us original guys from the original team back in 2015. But we planned it for 2 days. And this is mostly former SF dudes, SEAL guys, a couple of former CIA guys. Like, it was just crazy. Like, the caliber of guys that we had on this team. And I'm the only medic. But anyway, some really good, straightforward dudes. Young, a lot of young guys. Well, we took the compound. No one was hurt. The guard dogs actually came up to us when we fed them food. So that was nice. Then we brought in we rounded all the people up after clearing every single building. Got all the people together because they're going to jail now, because we were deputized by the Cayuga Nation, and we are sending them to an Indian jail. Whether or not they got there, it's a little fuzzy in my brain. I can't really remember too well. But anyway, so the construction company comes in, and per the client's orders, we demolished half of the buildings. Not half of the total buildings, but every building, half of it.
No.
So all the buildings are destroyed, half of them. When we went into the security room, their security operations center, they had a kill board. Dale, I didn't see your picture on there. I'm sorry, man. My picture was up there with a $10,000 bounty, dead or alive, by the Canadian Mohawk Warrior Society. It is such a good picture. Rob Crott snatched it up. He's like, "Oh, I got this for you." But yeah, they actually had bounties on our heads. We found fully automatic weapons. We found heroin. We found fentanyl. We possibly found some evidence. Again, I'm a little fuzzy because it wasn't my purvey, but some trafficking in the worst type of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the client kept all that close. And a few days later, there's giant protests. The media is behind them. The entire New York media is all behind them. There's 150 people lined up across the street. And that's when we had the big skirmish. The U.S. Marshals were there. Police force was there. Everybody was there. And they were on our side. They were fully kitted out, just sitting back, waiting and watching. Let the boys fight, but if a single shot is fired, then they'll get involved. Cool. So we had a giant scrum. Right before the scrum, there was, I remember this story, one of the New York media people was standing right next to, the Native Americans. Now, there's only about 30 of them. Everybody else is a blue-haired, whatever, white person, protesting. Well, this news lady was right there, and she's like, oh, listening. And here's all these Canadian Mohawks, because there's not that many of the bad guy, the original Unity left. The guys that we saw and did surveillance on and got all the info on from 2015, half of them are dead. Diabetes, drug deals gone bad, robberies gone bad, burglaries, you name it. Half of them are dead. So anyway, she's standing next to the natives, Native Americans from Canada, the Mohawks, and they break out a crack pipe and they start smoking crack and talking about what they're going to do to our families after this. And that's when the light bulb like clicked on with her. She's like, I'm on the wrong side of this. Now, at this time, the client released what we found, the fully automatic weapons, which I'm pretty sure you can't have in New York. The drugs, the possible trafficking, the fact that they were stealing $2 million from the actual Cayuga Nation. Like all this bad shit just came out, and then they advanced on our line. And we repelled them. We got into a giant scrum. Like it was freaking epic. It was slippery, it was icy. I got punched in the face twice, went down to my knees, and I looked up, saw the third punch coming. I stood up and turned, and the guy caught me on the corner of my plates, because we're all wearing jackets, just shattered his hand. And I actually have pictures of me wrapping his hand after the fight. But it was pretty interesting. It was, like I said, very unique. And honestly, up until that point, I always wondered, going back to Dave, what he says, like, are we the baddies? I was like, no, we're not the baddies. We're absolutely not the baddies on this one.
Hey man, one man's freedom fighter.
Yeah.
Another man's Listen, I got to get out of here. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
it's been a long day for you.
I'm already getting phone calls. Hey,
no worries.
I think we ought to try and do this again.
Yeah, I mean,
we
not to
really,
Iraq and Africa.
yeah, man, we're really just scratching the fucking surface here.
I
So
know,
hit
right?
me up on the chat here in a bit, but I got to get out the door, bro.
Guys,
Sounds good.
Hey.
hopefully next one I won't be on the road and freezing up.
I'm
gonna
It's all right,
enjoy.
Mitch.
I'm gonna enjoy.
It's all right, Mitch.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
All right,
All right, guys.